You fools! Making sure my microphone is on. How you doing? This is Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel, and welcome to another Mattitude, the Eurovision live stream. Yes, if this is your first time joining us or listening to this, the name kind of indicates that we are going to talk about the Eurovision news of the week. That's right, I'm going to go for them one by one, and then we'll have a conversation. I will answer your questions, we're going to analyze it, and whatever needs to get done, and this is all in collaboration with you guys. This is all a back and forth. So this is a lot of fun, and a lot of people, for you guys, it is just another way to just get over PED, post-Eurovision depression, right? We're slowly entering the national selection process era. It'll kick off in December with Albania basically starting their show. So we still have a little bit of time to kill, and don't worry, I'll do the best I can to keep you entertained. I see a bunch of people screaming at me in the chat. How you all doing? Niels, reviews, music. Hello, right back at you. Eurovision fan says hi. And Canadian Bacon, wonder where you're from, says hi. And thank you everyone joining us. ESVL97, I'm gonna say that twice. Good to see you. I see my camera is a little choppy right now, so let me see if I can refresh that real quick here. Give me 2 seconds. In the meantime, while this is happening, I am going to talk, so hopefully this will actually fix it. Let me know as I'm trying to do different things here. But yes, we are going to talk about this, and this is not the busiest week in terms of Eurovision or what has happened, and hopefully it'll pick up more, but there's always stuff to talk about, so don't worry about that. We got a few things to talk about. Let me see what we're going to start. I have my notes up here, and while they may not be as earth-shattering, it's always worthy to just kind of go into a few of the details and see what is going on. So the first news I am going to address is, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you have any questions, I will stop after each topic so you can ask questions that are, as the name indicates, on topic. We're trying to keep it with that, and then at the very end, we're going to have a just a general Q&A session. How does that sound? How does that sound? Let's go ahead and do that. So, the first thing I would like to talk about is the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, as we all know, has had a little bit of a difficult time lately to figure out how Eurovision works, and basically, in case you didn't know, they had a head of delegation, Helen Riddell, for the past 5 years, who was in charge, and can you give her all the credit / blame for what happened? I don't know, but the point is that she has left BBC. That means we will have a new head of delegation, which will be announced hopefully soon. Now you may think, okay, a head of delegation, whatever, what's the big dealio, right? But there is possibly impact when it comes to it, because keep in mind, a head of delegation in the UK has a huge say and is in charge of the creative process, right? So that includes the song selection, and that is one of the biggest things we can talk about, right? The music videos, the staging of the performance, any kind of advertisement, publicity, you name it. This is all falls on the shoulders of the HOD. Now, the HOD, as mentioned, is gone, and a new one will be appointed in the very near future, I would assume. The question is the UK going to figure out Eurovision? That is the question. Now, we can look at the recent past and see what they've tried to come up with over the past 16, 17, past 3 years. They went back to a national final, right? So they usually have, like, I could be off with the numbers, 5 to 6 acts compete every single year, and then one of them wins, right? Now, the song selection process is good that they have one, I believe. The internal selection process was a flop. The question is is this an effective selection process? And that is something that I have been throwing out there over and over again, and I know it best, right? Now, seriously, I criticized the last few selections deeply, and some people defended. One of the things I always point out is the lack of transparency. Now, I understand before the British people yell at me, it is something that the BBC always does with all the kind of shows because they don't want to discourage big acts from taking part in case they finish dead last with the juries and televoters, to embarrass them, or just in general not trying to humiliate people. While this is a cute little thought on paper, in reality that's not how competition works, because that is not how Eurovision works. So I don't quite understand why they would think that this is the right thing to do. You need to be transparent. We need to know. Suri, was she selected actually by the juries? Was she selected by the televoters? Maybe both. Maybe she finished second in both and just won overall due to the discrepancies. We don't know. So I've been a big proponent of, when it comes to Eurovision in particular, because it's different than any other animal out there, to actually be transparent about it. And that is what I'm missing. I'm hoping that they somehow can come up with a system where it's a little bit more obvious who voted for who, because that helps. I'm still not convinced that Suri won the televote. I'm still throwing it out there, despite the big push. And then the other thing I'm pointing out is that stupid jury that I'm still getting a little choppy here right now. It's the fact that they have this panel that always influences certain people in the way how they should vote. They boo-booed all the guys this year and praised all the women. And that was so obvious. And people get kind of affected by that. You know, like, well, they don't like it, let me vote for somebody else. Let the people decide. Don't influence them. So hopefully they will come up with a better system. And that is what I'm hoping for. In case you have questions, make sure you post it at ESC United, and I will answer as many as I can on topic. And if you want to support us by Super Chat, of course, it always goes to the team efforts in Tel Aviv. ESVL97 again is saying, did you hear UK had voting poll to have Eurovision as a public holiday? Of course they didn't. I heard about that. I read that actually. And I was like, come, it's cute. It's cute, right? First of all, Eurovision has 3 days, right? Are we going to have 3 holidays, Tuesday, Thursday? I know they're only in the finals. First of all, a holiday on a Saturday, and it's ridiculous. I mean, it was a cute little measure. Everyone knew that this wouldn't pass. Plus, Eurovision is in the evening. Most people don't work. So it seems kind of silly. Cute effort, but yeah, it was, come on. Charlotte Carson said, the BBC never gives away the votes. It's the same in other popular shows. I kind of wish they would, though. That's what I'm talking about, Charlotte. This is what they do all over their networks. It's if you don't want to do that with like the idol shows or whatever, that's fine. Eurovision is a different animal. And until they start understanding and realizing that, they'll keep losing. They may get lucky with one random good pick, but they need to understand that Eurovision is a competition. And by hiding the whole purpose of a competition, the points and who votes for who, you'll continue to flop. Come up with a different system. And could Legends last year, a lot of people say, oh, the performance sucked, blah, 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 but it was still, to me, the song that had the best shot at winning, and she could have definitely cleaned up her act a little bit and a lot and rehearsed, and it would have been probably way better. That's my point. So hopefully they will figure that one out. Jami is saying, if you could choose an artist that participated at Eurovision to return that hasn't returned before, who would you choose? Now, I'm only going to talk about the UK right now, so if I'm looking at the British crowds that has performed before that should return, in my opinion, Jade, who brought back home the best result for the UK in God knows how long. A fantastic singer with a grand ballad. I'd love to see her back. She's very young, so she's so talented. Love her. I want her back for the UK. But the UK, they're not known for bringing acts back, right? You do it once and then you're done. Remind me when the last time we had an act that participated twice in the UK. like a returnee. Probably, I would even, top of my head, I would have to go back all the way to I don't know when. I can even think of one right here, right now. I'm sure there's at least someone, but it's been a long, long time. So they don't really do that. Meister, you're saying the BBC rejected something. I don't know what you're referring to, although they had stated that the songwriter must only submit one song, whereas he submitted 3. What's it? Are you talking about Joust? That it was rejected? I don't know. I don't have much information about that. I love their music, but it's more like Alexander Wallman I really liked, so I don't know. So, that is what we have with the UK right now. Hopefully they're going to pick someone in the UK that understands Eurovision better than anybody else and come up with a system. Hopefully that works. And listen to my advice, because I'm awesome. No, I'm not. But you got to change. You got to figure something out. This current system is a step in the right direction. I think you had good quality in 2018. Now it's time to really, really figure out how to pick the right song. Okay, so this is what's happening with the UK. Of course, there's more happening in the world, and I just closed out of my window. So I'm going to bring that up here right now. But why I'm doing this, what I'm going to talk about is Ukraine. And I'm sure you know what I'm going to talk about. Ukraine has confirmed participation in Eurovision 2019, right? They always do. They love Eurovision, and it's not the same without them. So now the problem is, get the money. They are struggling. Now, they're still saying they're in, first of all, right? There has been no kind of communication saying that they may pull out, but sometimes it could be out of their control. Remember Romania 2016? When they were basically barred from taking part by the EBU. Hopefully it will not happen this year, but this is basically what's happening. That it's called, it's the current financial situation I'm referring to, and the EBU themselves is kind of worried about the deficit that is going on, the budget deficit I should talk about. In case you don't know what happened, the broadcaster, the Ukrainian broadcaster, was allocated only half of the budget by the government, right? Just imagine yourself, all the money that you make right now, if you make money, if you still go to school, you don't care, but your allowance from your parents, let's do your allowance, gets slashed in half. What are you going to do, right? That sucks. That sucks big time. So, that is really difficult to begin with, and the parliament now has adopted a draft law on the state budget, which is reduce the annual budget of the broadcaster, which is UAPBC, by another 30 million euros for 2019. You heard that right, 30 million euros for next year. And if that law is actually implemented, then they will only receive a very small amount. What is it? 57% of the annual budget. This is bad. This is bad for them. And of course, a lot of people are speaking up. The director of the broadcaster said, "We are very surprised at such proposals since we are barely surviving the current year. By doing this, they violate all laws and led us to death." Ooh, dramatic. "It's not an exaggeration. It's impossible to exist this way." Not a literal death, but the death of the broadcast, I should say. I was like, don't talk like that. That's a little morbid. But I get what he's saying. They currently have a deficit of 7 million euros to begin with, due to the whole, budget cuts and all of that stuff. And they also had to cut their analog broadcast throughout the country. It's crazy what's going on right now. So they have to work properly now. That they could close at some point. So what's going to happen is a new broadcaster coming up. This is not good news. I'm hoping that they're going to figure out the situation. But I cannot say with the way things are going that I am confident that we are going to continue with Ukraine in Eurovision this next year. What do you think? Am I being overdramatic? But it's not that I'm trying to be negative or anything, but we have seen what happened to Bulgaria, and Bulgaria didn't give us a whole lot of information, right? They kind of kept it a little bit more vague. They just said financially, but here we have a little bit more concrete information and data onto why this could be an issue. And the good news is, at least, I'm not sure if you can say good news, the broadcaster and everyone involved, they're still going forward with the national final. So they are still on focus as far as like Eurovision is concerned. So I am hoping, my fingers, toes, and everything else that you can cross is crossed for that. One thing is true, they have been struggling for quite some time now, right? Ukraine always seems to be struggling financially, and they take part. But this is a little different. You know, it's getting worse and worse, and there comes a time where they can no longer afford it. Once again, I'm going back to Romania's example, right? Could the EBU, that comes down what the EBU wants to do. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this is going to be fine. Keep in mind, I see several posts here. If you want to ask a question, make sure to do it at ESC United. And after that, you can also do a super chat. But for now, let's focus on that. I apologize, by the way, for the choppiness right now. I don't know why that is happening. I'll keep trying. And so this is what we're having currently with Ukraine. So somebody's asking, Barry Gold is asking, when we can expect that the first artist will be announced. I can wait any longer. I cannot wait any longer either. I don't know when. At this pace, it may be Albania in December. It would be nice to have at least one name in the pot, right? We don't get anyone. It's a little annoying. But the other one could be that Austria lately has been pretty good in announcing the act fairly early. So hopefully they could beat them, to the punch. I would like that. I would like that a lot. Emma is asking, have you ever been to see, or would you see a Eurovision artist do a gig of their own? Emma, yeah, I would, but I live in the United States, right? I live in California. I don't have that luxury. There are no acts that come here. It's super annoying. It is super annoying. So, I would love to see not any of them, but certainly a good bunch of them. If Netta were to come here, I know she had a #1 hit in the Billboard charts, in the dance Billboard charts, and it's on my part of the country. Absolutely, I would love to go. But I have to be patient. Somebody's asking Canadian Bacon, kind of off topic, but would you make a Discord? I know of Discord, and I've used it before, but it's becoming more and more work. I run a forum, I run a website, I run a YouTube channel. So the more I add, the more difficult it gets. I only have so many resources. I will take it into consideration, but I don't know if I can do that at this very moment. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so as I'm bringing up a few things here, because what we're going to do next is we're going to go through some of the national final information. But before that, I see one, Lek M says, but in the past, some broadcasters ended and another broadcaster take the short for the term. I think it's the case Ukraine's broadcaster ended, another new broadcaster will come to replace them. Lek M, that could be. I know that happened in the past, that one broadcaster went, the next one takes over, and something similar could happen now, but keep in mind, there are deadlines. There are certain things that you have to apply for, and if the timing ain't right, this could actually affect them. That could actually affect them. So that's what I'm saying. We all get comfortable. It didn't happen in the past, but it could happen. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. Okay, so what else do we have? We have more to talk about. Let's move on to the national finals. And then you can keep asking your questions where you can, and I will do my best to answer them. Actually, there's one more question about Albania announces the act on the December 22nd. Yeah, that's the one we first know of. That is correct, what I was just talking about. You're absolutely right. All right, let's talk about the news. Let's talk about the national selections and some updates. I just only have a handful here because it's been a fairly quiet week, but there's always something going on, right? Sweden first. Melodifestivalen, in case you're not aware. So Melodifestivalen, they had a press conference this past week, a few days ago, and the Swedish national broadcaster SVT, they announced the hosts for Melodifestivalen, the national final in Sweden. Actually, more people watch Melodifestivalen than Eurovision. That's how popular it is there. There's the reason why Sweden does well every single year at Eurovision, right? They announced the 4 hosts 4 of them again. Again, I'm not sure if they need that many. I don't know why that's a thing. It's probably easier logistically, but I like less. But the names are Marika Karlsson, Kocho Akolor, Sarah Dawn Finer, and Eric Sade. So some of those names may ring a bell to you, right? Some of them, maybe not. So the first 2 we want to talk about are the 2 that I personally have not heard of as a foreigner. Marika Karlsson and Kocho Akolor. I probably butchered their names, but that's how I do it. They are both comedians, apparently, and TV hosts anyway, and I think that's good. Melodifestivalen, they go for the funny part, right? It's not serious, it's entertaining, they do skits, they do jokes, so for that, I applaud them. Bring funny people on. Sarah Dawn Finer, you may know her, 2007 and 2009, she actually took part in the Melodifestivalen as a contest, and then in 2012 she was a co-host, as well as in 2016 one of the semifinals. I think it was the 4th, I want to say. She hosted, so she is the one that definitely has experience hosting Eurovision. Then, also in the running is, hosting is Eric Sade. He represented Sweden in 2011, finishing in 3rd place. He also took part in Melodifestivalen 3 times, I know in 2010, 2011 obviously, where he won, and then a couple of years ago as well with Sting, but it wasn't enough, right? So that is good, interesting news. I know usually if you have any other country announcing their host, people are like, whatever. But here, that's a pretty, big announcement because it is the national finals of the national finals, right? Melodifestivalen, no doubt about that. So this is, I don't know. I'm very interested to see how Eric Sade is going to hold up because he's not necessarily a host, at least he may be in Sweden. The only time I saw him do something was in 2013 when he was like for a short while the green room host, and he was mostly just insulting Petra. So we'll see. I'm sure they're gonna have a great script for him. We have to wait and see, and we'll go from there. Iceland also has a quick update, nothing like earth-shattering, but they finally have closed their submission deadline. A total of 132 entries have been submitted. And then what's going to happen, a panel of a committee, if you will, 7-member committee, they will review all the songs and determine which of these will actually compete in the Icelandic semifinals. They have 2 semifinals, 5 songs in each, so they will select 10 songs out of those 132 entries. As you know, Iceland hasn't had much luck lately in Eurovision. The last time they qualified was in 2014. So they need to pick it up a little. They understand that this is probably the year, right? But this is where they at. It's the next stage, and I just enjoy the progression of how the selection process is kind of continuing. Okay, so I restarted my stream real quick to see if that's going to fix the choppiness. So forgive me about the delay here. I'm doing what I can. Sometimes technology does not play along, and this is what's happening right now. Let's see if I'll be able to come back from this. If you see me, please say something in the chat. So forgive me, I just had to restart my streaming real quick and see if that's going to take part of the issue. So this is where we're at as far as Iceland is concerned. Now let's talk about the next one on my list, which is Montenegro. Just a quick update, they're just still figuring things out. They don't know what to do yet, but what we're hearing that the council that is overlooking the whole Montenegrin broadcaster, they announced that the submission process will start in the next few days, and they made a few changes to the last year. Songs may be performed in either one of the country's native languages or in English, actually. So they will have 30 days to review all submissions once they come in, which is cutting down from the 45 days they've done it previously. And so all of that stuff. So they're going for a little bit more of a bureaucratic process there, I guess. But hey, at least they're trying something different because it has not been working. So it's still laggy. Okay, yeah, I don't know what. I'm gonna restart one more time. I don't know what's going on. It tells me on my side that the C. Okay, so I'm trying it one more time. Okay, let me know how it goes. I turned down the quality a little bit and see if that will take care of it. So forgive me about all of this. After today, I will definitely see what's going on and work in the past. So technology, sometimes you cannot really control it, right? So let me know if the quality is a little better today, right now. And we just have to do with what we have right now. But this is what we have with Montenegro, and let's move on to Latvia. They Supernova 2019, which is the selection process in Latvia, they tweeted this week recently, and they said application for Supernova 2019 has ended. We have received 83 applications with surprising different songs, new and interesting collaborations, brave solutions. Season 5 looks promising so far. So, this is what we have right now with Latvia. In case you're wondering, 93 is less, 83 is less than we had last year. It went down from 93 submissions to 83 submissions. Not earth-shatteringly bad, right? But slightly less interest. Latvia failed to qualify 2 years in a row. Supernova started out with a bang, and they're slowly dropping in their success rate. But hopefully they will pick up soon. So it's still a little laggy, huh? Yeah, I mean, I can keep bringing it down a little bit more, the quality, and see if that'll take care of the issue. Although it says good on my end. It is so weird how this differs. So let's see. I'll give it one more shot. All right, so one more reload. I brought down the quality really much, so I hope maybe I'll turn up a little blurry. So it is. That's the reason why it buffered, because I turned off my streaming thing real quick to change the settings and see if that will do the trick. So I'll keep talking and I'll keep dancing until we know if it's working. I don't know what I'm doing this. Anyway, so this is what we have with Latvia. As far as the news are concerned. And last but not least, you probably saw it, Georgia. Georgia has announced that they are using their Georgian Idol show to pick the act and song. Auditions for the new series is currently taking place, actually, and it's set to air in 2019. And we'll have to see how that goes. As we know, this is what it is. I was talking about it on our forum with a few folks about this, my thoughts on it. Personally, I'm not a big fan of idol shows, right? It is just what it is, but how can I say this? I don't want to sound rude, but I don't like these shows. I just don't like them, and I'm not a big fan of it, because my worry is, what I love about Georgia is that they have such a good variety of songs. Every year they send something different, fun, diverse entries, and that is what I love about them. Not always something that everyone loves, but I love that they are really just going out, like, go big or go home, right? And I always appreciate it. And I loved their song last year. I always love the music because it's so different from your standard pop. Now that they're going with the pop idol, I have a feeling that they may end up with the mainstream pop song, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? But what I always appreciate about Georgia, it was the wild card. Like, you never knew what they were going to throw at you. So I wonder if they're going to lose that one. But every once in a while, I guess they're allowed to go more predictable. So I'm not a fan of that selection process, but hey, at least they're in it. That's all I care about. And maybe they'll go back to the finals. You know, they earned it. They earned their place at some point. Anyway, so these are the updates we have for the week. Oh man, it's so choppy. So that is what we're doing right now. And this is where we're at. Other than that, we didn't have that many news. It's going to be a shorter live stream, I guess, especially with the technical difficulties. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and answer a couple of questions for you. And you let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about. Euro Towley says, Matt, you legend. You care. I have 2 songs for you to rate. Monaco 1959, Mon Ami, Pirot, and Portugal 1999. You know, the guy that looked somewhat like Jesus. Okay, now you caught me off guard with Monaco 1959. I have to listen to it. I know all the songs, but they don't come straight to mind. So I cannot think of that one right now. So I had to get back to you on that one. Portugal 99, I do remember. That was the one where they only received 12 points, right? From Spain, I think. And then they didn't get any points. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't for me, per se. Like, I wouldn't voted for it. It was just... I can see why people did not go for it, to say it that way. So that's my opinion. Let's see, who else do we have? NetUser247. What are your thoughts about JESC in general? I'm glad that they have a junior version, since they cannot take part in the big one. Personally, I'm not quite as attached to it. As a matter of fact, this will be the first year, or the second year technically, but the first year where I'm going to listen to all the songs, because I don't watch JESC usually. This year I will, so there will be a video forthcoming in the near future where I review all of the songs, so stay tuned for that. But I'm glad they have it. I'm just not as crazy into it. Lek M says, what do you think about Moldova? They didn't say nothing yet, and they're in the dark right now. They'll be back. They will be back. They're always very hush-hush about. This is not the first time that they didn't say anything and then they just confirmed. Moldova will be in. I would not worry if I were you. And I'm not worried about it. Jarno Gaming is saying, when will Eurovision Asia be? Only Mr. God knows why. Maybe next year? I thought it was going to happen this year, only because the EBU even announced it. The EBU wouldn't just throw it out there unless there were more concrete plans. So I'm a little surprised it didn't happen this year. I hope it will happen, but not this year, for sure. So maybe 2019, but we have to wait and see. They're now saying it's in the early stages of preparation, but that's just an excuse, in my opinion. So I don't know for sure. Canadian Bacon, is Italy picking through Sanremo again? Yes, they'll always pick through Sanremo. Keep in mind, just as a caveat to that, the winner of Sanremo will be given the option to represent Eurovision. So just because you win Sanremo doesn't mean that this act will go to Eurovision, right? So it happened in 2016, for instance, at the winning act. I forgot the name of them. They didn't want to go to Eurovision. They said, nah, we'll pass. And then somebody else was picked by the broadcaster instead. So it's just the winner is being given the honor or the option to represent their country at Eurovision, but it's not like an official selection process. It's a unique thing when it comes to Italy. So, ESC Fan Forever is saying, what is your favorite Eurovision winner from 2000 to 2018? Oh gosh, don't do that to me. I don't have a favorite out of those. I can give you a handful that stand out to me. I would have to write them all down. We're talking about 18 or 19 songs right now. I don't know if I have a favorite out of those. There are a bunch of them I love. I loved Finland in 2006. I loved Serbia in 2007. I loved Austria in 2014. So there are so many of them I just love so much. So I can't give you a proper answer right now, but here you have 3 that just come to mind right away that I love. What is your favorite Dutch entry? Jin's Handsome Face is saying, well, Mr. Handsome Face, I won't tell you right now, but here's why. There's a reason why I'm not telling you right now. I am going to do a Dutch reaction video next. You people voted in the poll, and the Netherlands is next. So I will listen to all songs from 1956 to 2018, all Dutch entries, and I will react and comment on them. That video will be up sometime early next week, probably. So just check back, and you'll get my opinions on all Dutch entries. How does that sound? How does that sound? So anyway, I'm going to answer 2 more questions because the stream is really laggy. I'm sorry about that, guys. I will do my best to fix that next week. If San Marino, would they be able to host it? No, they will not host it. It's a straightforward answer. Where? I know we always do the joke about Valentina's backyard, but let's be realistic. They will not have the venue. They will not be able to host it. But first, let them win and see how it goes. So, and then I'm going to ask... first of all, Stefan, happy birthday. Today's your birthday. Yay! So good for you. Hope you're gonna celebrate it right. And do you think we will see Luxembourg again at some point? Not soon, but at some point. I think they will be back at some point. The people in charge at the top need to switch out, and somebody that is more pro Eurovision is going to have to be in charge, and hopefully that will be the case. So this is where we're at right now, and I'm sorry that we're going to end the stream a little earlier than usual, but with the technical difficulties, I just don't, it's going to be difficult for me to interact with you because I'm doing a lot and you cannot see me. It's turning into a podcast. So again, my apologies. Maybe to make up for it, I will do another live stream maybe midweek, just to kind of make up for this butchered one. So once again, my apologies for that, and I will be back soon. Have a good night, everyone. I will communicate the next live stream to you shortly. Bye-bye.